This is a support agent built on RAG. It answers product-specific questions, and unlike its simple setup where one customer question triggers a single LLM call, here it fans out. It classifies the topic, makes a plan, rewrites the query 3 ways, embeds each one, searches the vector store, re-ranks the results, calls the backend tool, writes an answer, and then grades its own work with 2 separate judges. I'm asking it one thing. How do I increase my API rate limit on the Pro plan? Here's the answer it gives me. Confident, fluent, and completely wrong. The endpoint it used was related to billing and not rate limits. So when the final answer is wrong, a notification saying the agent is broken is useless. Which step actually failed? Let's find out. I click into the trace for this exact one. At the top, looking at the scores, retrieval relevance is very low. Something clearly broke upstream. Let's trace it back. Let's start with the obvious suspect. Did it misunderstand the question? Clicking into the classify step, the output shows it correctly categorized this as a rate limits question. So no, that's not it. Let's keep going. Here's the retrieve step. Looking at the metadata, we can see it was classified as rate limits, but the filter that actually got applied is billing. And if we open up the documents that pull back, every single one is a billing doc, with similarity scores near 0. Whatever came back wasn't even about the question. When we continue with the tool call, it shows the same problem from a different angle. Tool selection keys off that same category field, so it called get billing summary and pulled the customer's invoice data instead of the rate limit tool. And if we look at what the answer step was actually handed, it's all billing content, documents, and account data. Nothing about rate limits anywhere. So the agent did the most natural thing with what it had. It stitched the closest looking pieces together into a confident, basis answer. That's hallucination. Not a lying model, just an agent fed the wrong material. Every symptom we just saw, the bad retrieval, the wrong tool, the hallucination, traces back to one line. One wrong entry in a routing table, mapping rate limits to the billing filter. No exception, no error log, nothing crashed. Just a fluent, confident wrong answer, sitting on one row of a config file. So in my case, I hand that exact problem to my Claude agent and write, this routing table maps the rate limits category to the wrong filter. It's pointing at billing instead of rate limits. Fix the mapping. Claude finds the entry and corrects it. Now after Claude code changes the code, if we go back to the chat and ask the same question again, how do I increase my API rate limit on the Pro plan, it now routes correctly to rate limits, retrieves the actual rate limit doc, calls the rate limit tool, and answers correctly, pointing the user to request an increase on the settings or hit the rate limit increase endpoint. Relevance and faithfulness both come back strong. From the outside, it's the same tree of steps, but now every branch is doing its job. The LLM was never the problem. Classification was right, the model was capable, nothing threw an error. The failure sat earlier in the chain, 3 steps before the model ever wrote an answer. Without tracing, I'm just guessing. Reprompting the model, blaming retrieval quality, adding retries I can't help. With one trace, I followed the bad score straight down to the exact broken step, fixed the actual cause, and confirmed it in seconds. When your agent fans out into a lot of steps, you don't debug it by reading the output. You read the trace on Langfuse.